What's better than $2 Tuesday at Sports Memo? How about Freebie Friday? We can't go any lower than free, and each and every Friday we'll hand select a best bet from one of the hottest handicappers on the site and give it out for free. All you have to do is each and every Friday, head over to sportsmemo.com. The Freebie Friday will be listed on the homepage, and you'll be just a click away from a free bet.
Happy Friday, guys. Welcome back right here to WagerTalk TV. And boy, oh boy, it is a happy Friday. I mean, I thought it was going to be Leafs in 4, Jets in 4. Then everybody said Vegas in 5. Here we are. Montreal Canadiens are off to the Stanley Cup Finals. But I'll give you a quote that Carmine gave me before we even went to air. If you ain't first, you're last. There's still a lot of work to do for this team. I believe in them. And it's been a very, very impressive run. Hats off to all the people that have actually finally, I know it's so hard for them, finally given the Canadiens some respect. And shout out to everybody else that's just still not respecting them and saying, oh, it's a weak division. Well, you know what? It's not a weak division because it proved the West Division had the San Jose Sharks, the LA Kings, the Anaheim Ducks, the Arizona Coyotes, and they weren't the best division either. So the Montreal Canadiens are the Western Conference champions. That sounds weird to say. And they are off to the Stanley Cup Finals. I'm happy I cashed a ticket with them yesterday. And I'm super excited for the next round and see what that holds. And tonight, we will find out who they play in the Stanley Cup. Going to be unbelievable. I cannot wait. Before I do toss it over to Carmine, though, I do want to recognize and throw it out there that I had a 5% play in baseball yesterday after going on a 10-0 run, and it was quite possibly the worst way to end that streak. It was an absolute dud. 2 homers to start the game off in the early innings, and it didn't get any better from there. So my apologies out there to everybody that joined me on that play yesterday, but 10-1 on those 5% plays. Hard to really complain with the results there, but not the result I wanted yesterday on that 5% play. Carm, we are going to talk about tonight's game. Don't worry, we will get there, but I am enjoying this. I always say happy Friday every week, but it's really a happy Friday for me today.
It certainly is, Andrew. Listen. I'm absolutely happy for you. Maybe not so much for Buster, because Buster with that house money stuff or whatever. But kudos to the Canadians. People got to give them credit because they did exactly. It's the same game plan. They played the exact same way through all 6 games, and they got what they deserved, which was a series win. And I know you as a fan. I know how you feel. Listen, I've gone through it. I'm much older than you, Andrew. Much older than you, probably twice your age. I think I am twice your age. Oh my God, I'm old. But listen, I've experienced Italy winning a World Cup in 2006. I experienced being at BMO Field when Toronto FC won the MLS Cup. The Raptors won the NBA championship, 1991 in Tampa Bay. I was there to watch the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, that's right. Wide right, Scott Norwood. They did not win that Super Bowl. It was crushing, but which brings me to the point of yes, you still have to win it, but enjoy the ride. It's been a great one, and for Montreal, if you're not a Montreal fan but you're a Montreal bettor, then you really are playing with house money 100% because they've been a dog, and I've talked about this. They've been a dog in like 13, 14 games in the playoffs. And and they've won, I think, 11 of them. It's absolutely amazing that the odds still keep rolling out the way they are. And kudos to Brian Leonard, 5% play yesterday on the Montreal Canadiens. He hit another one. The guy is super hot with these 5% NHL plays, and congrats to him. But listen, congrats, man. Western Conference. It just sounds weird. Western Conference Canadiens, but
Sounds really weird.
This is, call it what you want, even if you're a Montreal fan, this is one of the biggest upsets I've seen in the NHL playoffs. I think the last one was probably the 2006.
31 years. 31
well,
years,
well,
Carm.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
Odds-wise,
I'm going to go.
31 years.
I know, odds-wise. I'm going to go a little sooner than that. In 2006, I think it was the quarterfinals. Detroit Red Wings, #1 seed, playing the Edmonton Oilers, and that series was tied at 2 after 4 games, and then the Edmonton Oilers won the the final 2 games of that series, including the game 6 at home to knock out the President's Trophy winning Detroit Red Wings that nobody thought could be beaten that year, and Edmonton did it to them. I'm going to throw this at you. Do you know who the goalie for the Edmonton Oilers was in 2006 in that series?
Not on the spot,
Dwayne
no.
Rollison. Dwayne
No,
Rollison.
I
So
definitely wouldn't
it
have known that.
you were
And
about
I think
4 or 5 years old. I'm not really sure of your age. You're probably about 4 or 5 years old, so you might not remember that. So, but with that said, we find out who your opponent is tonight, and it's going to be a great one: the Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, both of those teams have unbelievable amount of talent, and they have a lot of players that can finish plays. And what we've seen from the Montreal Canadiens, and what I've said pretty much all year long, is that some of their lines are shutdown lines. Philip Deneau is finally getting the recognition he deserves because he has never gotten it, because he never puts, he's not a guy that you find on the stat sheet. He is pretty much the opposite of a Russell Westbrook version of a hockey player. He is just a guy that stays off the stat sheet, but does all those little things that you love to see a player do. And he has consistently shut down the top lines of the opposition. And I just find it so cool. And it's so cool the way it worked out, that top line that didn't score a goal all series long, Carm, ends up winning that series for the Canadiens last night. Arturi Lehkonen off a really nice pass from Philip Deneau. So I think, the same thing I've been saying about this Canadiens team is going to have to continue in that Stanley Cup final, which is going to be running all 4 lines, forechecking strong, but, holding up that blue line and playing some great defense. And, a lot of people out there are still saying the same thing about the shots on goal and opportunities. Again, I'm going to say the exact same thing I've been saying, and I'm not sure if you're going to agree with this, Carm, but I know Brian Leonard will, and he just cashed a 5% winner, like you said. I'm super happy for him. There's a difference between shots and dangerous shots. You ever
Yeah,
hear about the home plate, what they're doing now? Like, they're putting a home plate graphic on the offensive zone and saying if you're not shooting from that area, then it doesn't really matter as much. Like, high slot chances, low shot chances. And it's a huge misunderstanding people are having with, getting shots on Carey Price from 12 feet out to the left versus getting a shot, right in front at him. There's a little bit of a difference between dangerous scoring opportunities and just a regular shot on goal. But I'm interested to see what happens when they play one of these two teams, because both these teams have plenty of talent, and we're getting a lot of complaints already. If they end up playing the Islanders, unless you're a fan of the team, you might be in for a pretty boring, low-scoring game between these two defensive teams. That's for sure.
yeah.
But
Listen, Andrew. Listen, they got more pucks on net last night, which is what they needed to do. 39 shots, but at the end of the day, if the shots are coming from outside the circles, from the top of the blue line, those aren't high dangerous chances. Like, if you look at the final analytical numbers for the Vegas Golden Knights, they were right there. It's 2.71 was their projected goals for in that game based on their shots. It is finished 3-2. Montreal's projected goals were 3.16. So when you look at the sort of like the final numbers, maybe Vegas underperformed by like a half a goal, pretty much. They're telling you it was a tight one, but Montreal has won every single tight game. So, and there's always going to be the detractors. You know what I mean? I was one in the Toronto series, and until Montreal somehow turned the light on and played fantastic from game 5 on. But this team since then has done the same thing each and every game. They just come out and play the same game. I call them plumbers. It's no disrespect to them or plumbers, but it's a phrase that has been used, you know what I mean, like from my 30s, where a team that just went out there and did the work. You didn't need a superstar. You didn't need a McDavid. You didn't need a Matthews, a McKinnon. You just needed 20 guys who every time they go up for a shift of 30 to 35 seconds do their job and then get back on the bench, and then it's next lineup, and they've done it. Can they do it in the Stanley Cup Finals? Why not? Who's to say they can't, right? Just keep doubting them, and they're just going to surprise you. So maybe they are the team of destiny. I love the fact that guys in the chat, and guys, thanks for tuning in, that you guys are giving Andrew the congrats and the kudos, because he does take a lot of does take a lot of shit from guys on YouTube for wearing his heart on his sleeve. It's just how it is. He's a fan of the team, but he doesn't let that interfere with his plays at any time. So you have to take that into consideration.
I appreciated all the messages last night, Carmine. I felt like I was on the team. A lot of people were congratulating me as if I was scored the game winning goal or something. But it's a great game. Looking forward to tonight. But just like you mentioned about the superstar, though, our superstar is Carey Price, and there's no hiding how special he is for the team. But other than that, it's just four lines. Got to mention Cole Caulfield, what he's done for the team at such a young age. And next year, Carm, will actually be his rookie year. This isn't going to count towards anything. Next year will be his rookie year. So unbelievable to see what happens there. And also, just real quick, this is from a fan perspective, but I got to get this off my chest. A lot of people from certain networks and stuff like that, people in the comment sections are saying that, they don't deserve to make the playoffs because compared to some other teams in different divisions, they didn't have as many points. I want everyone to keep in mind that we were the number 2 5-on-5 team in the league, Corsi wise, all year long. And the Habs just played horrible with 3-on-3 hockey. In this playoffs alone, Carm, they've lost one game in overtime when it's been 5-on-5. So
Yeah.
even though that's the rule that it's 3-on-3, but the rule also is if you lose in overtime, you get a point. I hate 3-on-3 as a Montreal Canadiens fan. They play better 5-on-5. As a fan of hockey, I love the 3-on-3. It's entertaining. I just want to throw that out there because right now in 5-on-5 OT, they've looked pretty good. But let's bring up the numbers for tonight's game. Tampa Bay and New York Islanders. This one should be amazing. -170 for the Lightning, +145 for the Islanders. The puck line here, -1.5 is +155. And once again, Carmine, we see a total of 5. I mentioned on the last show that I don't feel like I keep on saying that I don't think that the results from a previous game in the playoffs really will dictate what we'll see in the next game. And we really saw that. We really saw a bounce back effort. We didn't see a lackluster performance. We didn't see a discouraged performance. And you always talk about how great of a coach the Islanders have. But I'll be honest, my look and the one of the plays I gave out on this show was Tampa's team total. Pretty much me thinking that if the Islanders strung one out, it would have to be in higher scoring fashion because I just didn't think the Islanders could string together a great defensive performance against this team, and they did it. They kept them to 2 goals. I want to open things up by asking you, do they have to do the exact same thing in order to come out on top tonight?
Yeah, they played they played the game 6 the way we thought they would play. They
Mm-hmm.
responded. That game 5, as I said, was an anomaly. It just those early goals put them in a hole. Some bad puck luck for them and for any Islander bettors. And that's just a toss away game. You can't even look at that. Just put a line through it and look at every other game in the series and how it's gone. And we've seen a lot of low scoring 3-2 type games. So this, that's where I'm leaning tonight. It's the same thing. Game 6, I did say I was leaning to the Tampa Bay and the under, and when it was 2-0, it looked like we were well on our way to it being one of those 3-1 type score lines and Tampa Bay winning in 6. The total ended up pushing. I'm looking in the same direction, not as far as what side I'm going to take, but I think it's just going to be another low scoring game. These teams don't have it in them, Andrew, unless, excuse me, there's some really bad puck luck early on again, balances, deflections, or what have you. We haven't seen a lot of it or much of it, if anything, other than that game 5. So this is going to be another tight one. And the Islanders, while they don't do it in the regular season, when I talk about trots, they're a team that is built to play this type of playoff hockey. They're going to have to be even better than they were in game, excuse me, in game 6. Sorry, I have to clear my throat here. Sorry, guys. Give me some
No
water.
problem,
You can
Carm.
take over, Andrew.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, like you said, the Trotz mentality, what he's done on every team he's coached, even in junior, what he's been able to do to his teams, installing that great defensive ability, but also making them capitalize on offensive chances when they get them. And that's pretty much what we saw in the winner that they had the other night, Carm.
Yeah. And sorry about that, guys. Maybe the emotion of the Montreal victory last night got me a little bit, in the throat and stuff like that. But that, all kidding aside, Trotz, we've seen it the last few years. His team sometimes struggles, and they struggle this year during the regular season, but they get to the playoffs and they just play a different brand of hockey. And it's similar to what the Canadians are doing. They try and stifle your top two lines. There's a lot of line matching that goes on, and it's just, and this is why it's tonight. It's a little unfavorable for them because obviously Tampa Bay gets that last change on the ice in Tampa. So, with that said, I'd like to see Tampa in the finals. You want to see the Montreal Canadiens taking on the defending Stanley Cup champions in the final. What's the saying, Andrew? To be the champ, you've got to beat the champ. Well, here it is. If Tampa wins tonight, I'm going to stick with the under. I think it's going to be a tight game. I know you always say these elimination games, you can see some goals, but this is one where, much like Game 6, I think is going to be in or around that 5-goal total. So I just don't see a lot of goals here. I'll stick with the under 5 in this game.
Well, I often say that you're going to see more goals in these elimination games, Carm, but more specifically, I usually mention the third period. So, quite frankly, we could kind of see both of our plays hit. If I grab the third period
Yeah.
over and you're on the full game under,
Yeah.
we could see, a game end in 3-2. And, both
Yeah.
of us, I guess you would push. So maybe we'll look at 3-1.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I wanted to
I
throw
will
this
say
at you.
this. Okay.
The draw
Go
prop
ahead.
here is plus 316, Carm.
Yeah, I've seen guys, and I think Cam on Sports Grid mentioned it a couple of times where I think he took. I'm pretty sure he took games going to overtime and exact score 3-2 props. Right, the 3-2 prop in this game. If you take the 3-2 prop for both teams, right, it's literally on the Islanders. It is plus 900 that the Islanders win the game 3-2, and it's plus 650 on Tampa Bay to win 3-2. So if you're thinking this is one of those games, much like last night's, where it could go to overtime and it's tied at 2, you're a winner once it hits overtime, and you're cashing a pretty big ticket, no matter who wins. So, but with the odds in mind, Andrew, I'm going to throw one more thing out to those guys out there. If you're looking, we know the Montreal Canadiens are going to be an underdog after tonight's game with whoever they play. So if you're hell bent on betting Tampa Bay or the New York Islanders to beat Montreal in the Stanley Cup, if you think they're going to beat them, then you might as well bet them to win the cup now, because the odds are, if you look at it, Tampa Bay is plus 120 to win the cup. Montreal's plus, I believe, 150, and Tampa Bay's and the Islanders are plus 170. So instead of betting Tampa Bay tonight to win, you take Tampa Bay to win the Stanley Cup, because they're probably going to be, what do you think, Andrew? About minus 220, 240 to beat Montreal in the Cup in the
Something
series
like that.
price.
I think the
So you
odds
might
makers
as
are a
well
little
take,
bit buying more into the Canadians, but it's still going to be a
yeah.
pretty expensive price.
Yeah, those are the current lines right now. If you think the Islanders are going to win tonight, and you think that they're going to beat Montreal in the cup finals, then you take them at plus 170 to win the cup now, before tonight's game gets played, and hope that they win tonight. And then you've got a team that is probably going to be minus 200. You know what I mean? There'll be a shorter price against Montreal than Tampa Bay will be, but it's still, I'm just talking about odds. I'm not saying it's going to
I
happen, but I'm
agree.
just talking about what the better proposition here is. And sort of the final number I'm going to throw at you that has nothing to do with the teams, but it has a lot to do with the Conn Smythe, is look at Carey Price. He's down to plus 170 now to win the Conn Smythe.
Yeah, absolutely. Great
Odds
odds.
on.
I mean, the funny thing is, Carm, a lot of people are mentioning that there's actually a potential that if Montreal versus New York, and it went like 6 or 7 games, people are saying there could be a potential to still see Carey Price win that trophy. And that never happens. Stuff like that does not happen anymore in this day and age in the NHL. You don't see somebody that wasn't on the winning team win that Conn Smythe trophy. For anybody out there new to hockey, it is like the MVP of the playoffs trophy. So that's really interesting to see those odds and stuff like that, Carm. You can also try and pick those for a couple different teams as well, like the Lightning, like the Islanders. But I think it's a great strategy, and Carm, I think it's a misconception that people think that with futures you have to have this massive price. You have to have this humongous price in order for it to be worth it. But yesterday, I was talking to a few people about this. If you liked Vegas, to win yesterday's game, I would never have bet them on the money line. I would have just bet them to win the series, because then you're walking into game 7 with a plus 200 ticket. And instead
Yeah.
of laying that minus 145 in regulation and whatever the actual money line was, because you're just giving yourself a bad number. And if you think they're going to win that game, you probably think they have a chance, in game 7 as well. I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't mention this stat, Carm. I feel like we've kind of held off on these Tampa Bay awful loss stats, but the one that I've been mentioning all year long on this show, and we thank everybody for watching us all year long. Tampa Bay 63-17 last 80 after scoring 2 goals or fewer in their previous game. This is a team that has bounce back written all over their locker room. I haven't actually seen it, but they must have that because it just seems to work for them. It seems like if you get to shut down this team, it's very hard to do it in back-to-back games.
Yeah, another interesting one, and I'm going to get the number slightly wrong, I'm sure. Uh, but the second part of it is absolutely correct. This was going into game 5 after they had lost, I think, game 4. But Vasilevsky in the playoffs was 12-0 off a loss. So I believe he's now what, 13-0, I believe, going into this game with a goals against average of under 1.6 and a save percentage at around 0.943. Absolutely insane numbers, and Vasilevsky's coming off a loss. So if you're one of those ones that take stock in numbers like that, you have to look at it. Vasilevsky, it's either 13-0 or it's 12-0. I'm not sure if the stat was put up after the game or before the game.
Great stuff. Yeah. And I mean, I think the talent that they have offensively and with their forward group, it kind of makes Vasilevsky's brilliance get a little bit hidden, Carm, because let's face it, he is a world-class goaltender. He just also is surrounded by guys like Kucherov and Point and Stamkos that are so talented as well. They might take away that spotlight from him. The more I think about this game, the more I feel like the whole game 7 and the whole Barry Trotz mentality and the Islanders, what they're able to do defensively, even though I've listed those stats and we've talked about Tampa Bay off a loss and their players off a loss, part of me really does feel like this game, it has the New York Islanders written all over it. This is what they want. They want to be here in a spot where it's, score the first goal and you have a really good chance of winning the game. Score the second goal, in a game 7 elimination game, and you have a really good shot. And once you protect that lead, you're really in real good. So I'm curious. I think a lot of people don't bet these much, and I was talking about this with you yesterday, I believe, about scoring the first goal. Which team will score the first goal? And a lot of times, the team that scores that first goal will win the game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with these two teams. One bet that I have locked in, and this price is actually going way down, is will there be an empty net goal in this game? I have that locked in at plus 170. My book's now showing plus 165 for this. You wouldn't believe, Carm, the prices that I've hit this on continuously throughout the playoffs in some of these games, especially elimination games. And what's funny is that a way that I've actually been able to hedge out this wager is when it's like the middle of the second period. This is obviously still a plus price, I'll take a real small piece of the draw. So if I feel like, man, this is a real tight game, I'll grab the draw at, like, whatever it is, plus 150, plus 145, whatever, and say, all right, worst case scenario, I cash my, I if I don't cash my third period over, I'll cash some good plus money. I want to stick to my bet sometimes, but there has been a few times where I've kind of felt that a draw is coming and taking a look at that draw wager, because, like I said, with these futures, you don't always have to get the best odds. You just want to win. And if you're watching this game late in the second period and you think this game has, a fourth or fifth period, why not take a look at the draw, Carm?
Yeah, no, I know. It's always tough to take that like the draw odds and stuff. I just think tonight's game. I just want to be a fan of the game and not have
Hmm.
too much action on. I'm gonna have my regular, as you know, playoff prop bets that or power play prop bets, or else the producer's gonna mute my mic if I don't take those ones because he loves those ones. Has been making money off of them, so we're just gonna keep playing them. And I'm gonna look to the under. Like I said, Andrew, to go back to that stat with Vasilevsky, it is he is 12-0 the last two playoff seasons. The Lightning are coming off a loss, as well as going 5-0 this season in the playoffs so far, off a loss. So a pretty relevant stat as far as Tampa Bay, and we already know what his stats are like at home, where he's been lights out all season. I think he's only had 4 or 5 losses at home. So,
Yeah, it's huge. That's unbelievable. There were a few goal scoring prompts I wanted to look at for tonight. Some are some pretty good plus money. Jean-Gabriel Pageau, plus 340 to score a goal. This is a guy that's shown up in big games quite often for this team. He's someone that's going to kind of slip through the cracks a little bit. I want to avoid the Matthew Barzal play tonight because I feel like he's going to get plenty of attention. Just like I want to avoid the Braden Point play. He has had an unbelievable series, scoring goals. I think it's 6 of his last 8 games, something like that. But as far as the Tampa Bay, the prop I'm going to give out for them will be Andre Palat plus 250. Somebody else that just gets lots of shots on goal. He's always around the net. And I feel like at that price in game 7, he could be an unsung hero and someone to shine late in the game. But my look officially on this game is going to be the third period over. But I'll go to you, Carm, for your best bet, your power play on this game. And let us know what's going on for you tonight and on the weekend at wagertalk.com.
yeah, it is. As far as the weekend goes, it is the start of what's going to be a huge next 15 days or so. For me, it's the knockout stages of the Euros. It's now a bracket like event. 16 teams, and win and you're in, lose and you're out. I've got the knockout stage package up, and you can get every single play released. Use coupon code KO60. That'll expire when the first game goes off, but that'll get you $60 off the knockout stage package. I've already got like 5 plays loaded up. 2 of those 5 plays are 5% plays. So hopefully they go along with that 5-0 win with Spain had with my last 5% play tonight. Listen, there's no sense in getting my NHL play because you know what it is. It's the under in this game. That's the way I'm going with this one. Under 5 is my play here. I'm going to throw in an additional prop bet, much like I did yesterday with the Alex Pietrangelo over 3.5 shots, plus 110. He hit that prop hit. He had 6 shots on goal yesterday, so that was pretty much an easy winner. I'm going to go with Braden Point to get at least 1 point today on the power play, pun intended, and that is plus 150. So Braden Point over a half a point on the power play, and plus 150 on your money. Andrew, listen, congrats once again, because I know you're going to take us out on the show. To you, to my good friend, Mr. House Money in Mexico, Don Buster. I look forward to seeing him on Tuesday's show. He's going to be full of piss and vinegar. I just know it. So I'm just looking forward to that. And to all you guys watching, please hit that like button. And I wish you guys all the best this weekend.
Well, best of luck to you, Carm, with your big soccer plays coming up this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend of watching soccer and hopefully making some money in the process. I'm dying to go to Quebec, man. I got to get to Quebec. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity that I don't know when I'll get again. I mean, I might be your age by the next time this happens again, and that's a long time away from me, Carm. So I really have to take advantage of this opportunity. My best bet is going to be the third period over 1.5 in this game. It's a minus 140 price. We've seen this cash between these two teams several times now. And that's the way I'm going to look between the Islanders and the Lightning. I expect a very low scoring start and then things to pick up as the game progresses. But Carm, we're not done with this show. We actually have one more thing to kind of get through and to take care of here. So I'm going to bring one person in actually to this show, and it's not Prez, it's not Buster. Don't worry, it's not Brian Leonard. We have somebody else to bring in, and this kind of goes out to you here. Someone else is shaving their head because of you, Carm. Because of you.
How dare you take Pietrangelo again, Carm, on a Friday? You remember what happened last Friday? You
look what you started, Carm. Look what you
way
started.
to go. Way to go, Pietrangelo. Thanks a lot.
For those of you who are unaware of what is happening, last Friday, Andy Lang was on the show. Him and I had the same prop, Pietrangelo over 3.5 shots on goal. While he did get it yesterday, I did say that when two people have the same best bet and it doesn't come in, you have to show up on next week's show, which is today, with a shaven head. So kudos go to our good friend Andy Lang for coming on. You are the best, my friend. I absolutely love you, my friend. You are a gem.
Yeah. Well, I also have to say thank you so much to Alex Tuck. His shots on goal under was amazing. I wish we were going to see more of him. He hit it again last night. And if I don't see another Pietrangelo prop for the rest of my days, it'll be all for the best. Congratulations,
I bet you Andy was probably cheering against the Canadiens just so he can keep betting that prop. He was happy for me as a fan, but I bet you probably wanted to keep cashing those prop wagers. Also, shout out to Mrs. Lang there helping you out there, Andy. That's awesome. That is great.
She's a wonderful woman. Thanks, guys.
I love it. We'll have to have you back on the show before the season ends. Andy, do you have a best bet for us? You're already here with us. Any sport?
I actually have a 3-day pass. This MLB and NBA weekend is set up beautifully. I've had it circled all week. I've been talking about it. There's a 3-day pass promo code Andy3 gets you $30 off a 3-day pass. It's perfect. And yeah, I'll give you guys one. I really like Brook Lopez under his points, rebounds, and assists. He's a defensive nightmare for his own team. They got him in pick and rolls. He only played 20 minutes and only had 2 rebounds and 7 points last game. His minutes are going to go down. That's part of the client play package for tonight. So I like Brook Lopez under points, rebounds, and assists.
Andy, I'd like to
under points, rebounds, and assists. Sorry, Carm, go ahead.
Yes, Andy, I would like to extend an invitation to you, Andy. I'm going to be going to Vegas, obviously on July the 5th. I'm there for a week. I don't know how my Wi-Fi is going to be. It's going to be hit or miss. So how about you take over my hosting duties, and I'll try and make an appearance during the week, Wi-Fi dependent. Would you like to take over?
I love that. I'd be honored. I'd love that. You got it.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome stuff, guys. We'll close out the show.
I don't want people to think I'm ducking the show because Montreal's in the Stanley Cup Finals, but I want to make sure you have 2 hosts you can actually listen to without any crackling Wi-Fi. So.
Yeah, he has to keep that exact same look going if he comes on the show again next week. That's definitely a fact. But I mean, you guys can't tell which team I'm a fan of either, can you? I don't think I'm really hiding who I'm cheering for. The power plays are on the screen. Andy mixing it up with us, throwing a basketball play at us. Brook Lopez under points, rebounds, assists. Carmine with the Islanders Lightning under 5 at plus 100. And I'm looking at the third period over 1.5 minus 140. Guys, the support you show us on this show, the comments, the laughter, the likes, the Twitter interaction, we really appreciate you guys. Even all of you guys that trolled me all season long about the Canadiens, showing some respect to them. I appreciate you guys. It's always a pleasure coming on this show. On behalf of Carmine, Andy Lang, and everybody here at WagerTalk, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
With the WagerTalk one-day Power Pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for 1 day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $1.99. What's better than 1 day of great games? Watching, following, and winning those games.
Get your sportsbook edge with the entire WagerTalk team of handicappers with this one-day power pass. Every WagerTalk expert in every game they release for just one day. Your WagerTalk one-day power pass is right here, and it's yours for just $1.99.